Hi, everybody. Welcome to Apocalypse Soon. Me and Kevin Tinkin here are again on the streets of Los Angeles, particularly North Hollywood. This time we are outside a chain coffee house.
Yes.
Called Starbucks. Starbucks. By the way, Starbucks, did you know that Starbucks was a character in the Melville novel Moby Dick?
I did not know that.
That's right.
This is why I like doing these pods with you. I get to learn so much, about the world and, what's going on.
Moby Dick, considered one of the greatest novels ever written. There's a lot of minutia about whaling that turns a lot of people off.
Yeah.
I've never been turned on. You know how you have, and welcome everybody to Apocalypse Soon. Yeah, the heat is broken here in L.A. Last time we were outdoors, I really thought we were going to die.
Yeah, well, I mean...
It was a rough goddamn 10 days, and it's still hot.
Well, and even outside in the coolness of the evening, the ne'er-do-wells that were in that parking lot and, just driving around with their lights off and their blacked-out windows,
Yeah.
It's a little sketchy.
So there's minutia in Moby Dick that could turn some people off. And, a lot of these websites ask, what are your turn-ons, what are your turn-offs, right? What's a turn-on? And a lot of women do say that they get turned on by Moby Dick.
Really?
Yes, but it's a complicated question because one wonders if it's the novel.
Yeah, or the dick.
Well, I mean, I don't want to, and I don't want to start the podcast off like this, like crudely. By the way, we're getting some nice lighting from a car.
Yeah. Little assisted lighting.
It's we're getting bright light. We're out here in the we're really with the public now. I'm giving this guy a dirty look.
How dare he back out?
I'm laughing at myself at my flash anger.
Yeah.
That is completely not justified. So we're really with the public today because a coffee shop is where people come to have a nice hot beverage.
Yeah.
Only $6 for a cup of coffee.
So cheap. So worth it.
Now, you got a big iced coffee.
I got a venti iced coffee with 1 pump of white mocha and 2% milk.
Something made me laugh about the pump. The pump of milk, which I haven't heard that phrase in a while.
I like 1 pump. I'm a 1 pump kind of guy, you know what I mean?
By the way, this would be funny if the Starbucks employees had a podcast.
Yeah.
And it was all about Starbucks, and it would be something like this. If it were a Starbucks podcast. And by the way, welcome to Apocalypse Soon.
Yes.
The podcast with no upside. None. We are going to die. This podcast is about the disintegration of, the planet's ecosystem, the collapse of... Well, America is not a democracy, but I wanted to talk about what if the Starbucks people had a podcast and they were like, all right, the boss would be like, whoever the manager was, he would be like, all right, Jill and Fred, I want you guys to do the podcast. Now, remember, push the fall drinks because they have a sign up there. They have a sign at the Starbucks now with a big leafy thing. For fall, it says, Happy fall, y'all. And
so folksy.
That's good marketing. Happy fall, y'all. And it's kind of funny to have a banner like that out here in Southern California where it's wildfire season.
Right. And there's not a lot of southernness out here either, and have the y'all, Hey, y'all. Happy fall, y'all. Y'all, come on in and get yourself a pumpkin spice, y'all.
Get your pumpkin spice on. Now that would be kind of the podcast. It would be like, hi, welcome to North Hollywood Starbucks. I don't know why I'm talking like I'm kind of doing a southern accent, but I think that would be funny if. And by the way, you're hearing some people chatting next to us.
You're a man of the people, though. I
am a man of the people.
You live amongst the people.
That is very true. Even though there are times when I want nothing to do You ever get home really late from a gig,
Oh yeah.
and you're like, the last thing I want to do is see anyone
Yeah.
in my building, you know?
Oh, like a neighbor?
Yeah.
Yeah. No
Like,
thanks.
I'm feeling so like spent
Yeah.
with all my energy having gone out. I feel so spent,
Yeah.
and I don't want to see anybody, you know? That'd be funny, a guy doing a podcast like that. Like, hey, like he really didn't want to give any more of himself.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, what? What? And the podcast would be called What's It To You?
I feel like the out of the well of motivation to get on stage and talk to people afterwards, that type of energy, when it's gone, like I feel like the hospitality for the neighbors energy comes out of the same spot, you know what I mean? And I had
I have no right to demand anybody be quiet
yes.
in a public space, but I was ready to say something. Like, can't you see there's a podcast going on?
I don't know if I never talked to you about my old downstairs neighbor was like a full-blown sociopath. Like,
Really?
Yeah, they were. It was a couple.
Tell the people. A
Yeah,
couple?
it was a couple, and they would fight all the time, and she would scream and call him a crackhead and cuss him out, and they had 2 young kids, and
Oh, you see, it was good story.
I know.
Up until the 2 young kids.
But the lady would go nuts. She'd start drinking at night, and we always used to run a fan so that you can't hear other people, you know? So we'd always run in a fan so we couldn't
I
hear.
like running fans.
I love it. You know, it's
I like
'cause-
running scams. I like running fans. I like running numbers.
like running the ponies.
What?
Running the ponies.
Running everything.
Yeah, so we'd run the fan, and I remember one night in particular, it's like 2 a.m. She slammed with like a broom handle on the ceiling because we lived above them, and
They
she's
would
going
slam a broom handle.
on the ceiling and like a pound, and then she's going, "Can you hear me over the fan? Can you hear me over there? Your fucking kid's sleeping." Like going nuts. And we finally moved out of there, thank God. But then the guy, he would leave because he'd be pissed. They'd fight, and he'd slam the door. And then I'd see him downstairs a lot of the time, and he would act like we would have no clue that we could hear them at all. So he would a lot of times be like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Sounds pretty rough down there." He's like, "What do you mean?"
Did you say that? Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds pretty rough down there.
Yeah.
Sounds like low income infighting.
Yes, yeah.
No, because
Struggling with cash, are you?
struggling with cash and drugs. And don't get me wrong, the rich have all kinds of fights, but they have it in, bigger places.
Yeah.
They have the same shit, but you don't hear them because
Yeah.
they're behind all these, big rooms.
Yeah,
and,
insulation and.
as a matter of fact,
all
if I
kinds
came
of
from
that.
a rich family and I was fighting all the time with my significant other, I would have like all the walls soundproofed.
That's the dream. The dream, a fighting room, where you can just go in. Nobody
Yeah.
has to hear your business, I could turn up the sound of like somebody practicing drums, but someday, someday you should keep reaching for the stars.
You reaching for the stars. That's a funny. What do you call it? Goal to have is like be rich and try to get. Your goal is like to be rich so you could fight in a beautifully padded room.
Yeah. Lots of velvets on the wall for the padding, I always wanted a couch with buttons. I always thought if I can make enough money, then someday I'll have a couch that has like buttons on it. The leather couches like they have in like cigar lounges and stuff like that.
Those are big, beautiful couches.
I love it. I love a big couch.
Oh,
with
who
buttons.
doesn't love a big couch?
I'm a big fan. By the way, we should let people know I get to meet Charlotte tonight.
That's
and
right.
that was it was nice. She's so sweet and she's protective of you. She like was very protective, like. But then I scratched her back, and she was like, she was in. She was like, "Oh, this guy's got nails. I like it."
Yeah. Charlotte is. I was showing Karen, my wife, and you didn't see it either. The Harvest Moon is out tonight here on September 12th.
Yeah,
Right, and tomorrow, I think it's going to be out this week or something, you know?
Yeah. Do you do anything on September 11th to commemorate?
Well, I watched football all day yesterday.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't. I think September 11th was a real fucking tragedy, obviously.
Yeah.
And our response to it, the United States government, was an even bigger tragedy. The biggest blunder in American history was invading Iraq and just Iraq and Afghanistan, you know, and, that was just the biggest blunder ever, costing us, I mean, so many lives. There, mostly, and us as well, and just horrible. So I don't commemorate it, but it was interesting. On Netflix today, I was watching. Did you ever see the Netflix documentary about 9/11?
Oh, I've seen. I think I've seen them all. Yeah. Is that the one where they talk about the?
It's episodes.
But do they talk about the truthers type of stuff where they go? There was this powder, everywhere, and
no, what this one is
Building 7 or whatever.
No, it isn't like conspiracy stuff.
Yeah.
Or whatever, but it's like just like film crews who were there and just happened to be around. There was a French documentary team that
really
happened to be around there, and then they had all these like people who were part of it, you know. It was just amazing. It was an amazing, and I started to watch it today. I was eating in an outdoor cafe.
Wow.
And that's not to brag, but it was pretty nice out, a little warm, but I was eating. And then I was like, about halfway through the first episode, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like getting into this tragedy because the documentary is so vivid. That, I'm too busy to like get into an 11-part tragedy.
In a cafe outside in the middle of the day?
Well, if I start getting into that shit again, first of all, it's just, it's ultimately just so depressing in a way, and it's so riveting. It's like I've been thinking about all these murder documentaries that I've been watching, and I know I'm filling my head with shit. Like just like criminal behavior and aberrant behavior. And
I felt this. I just watched the John Wayne Gacy tapes. It was this documentary on there about that, and I felt the same thing. I'm like, why am I all this filling my head with this garbage? But it's entertaining. It's I'm like it. I don't know.
I watched the John Wayne. I watched it. There's a documentary about John Wayne Gacy, and on Netflix, and I was like, I don't know if I should. And then I start watching, and then I can't stop watching it, and it was brutal. It was brutal, and
I just love the idea of you watching something because you're not the kind of guy who can take something lightly. Or like you can't. I don't see you dabbling into a subject material, By the way, one of the things I love about this location is not only do we have idling cars, not only do we have airports, but we have solid conversation going on all around us.
Yeah.
Next week
I feel like it's a big fuck you because they can see we're doing a microphoned event.
Yes.
But they don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit.
Which they have every right, and I keep throwing them dirty looks. It doesn't help.
I don't think they're dirty enough. I think you got to dirty them up.
Yeah.
More scowling.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Do I take things lightly? No, but I mean, I just feel like there's something so prurient about it. There's something. It's what do they call it? Murder porn?
Yeah. Or tragedy porn. Yeah, the
tragedy porn.
Yeah. It is very similar to your tragedy clubs bit. You know because I mean it's right on the nose with all that because that's what's popular is like somebody getting murdered or whatever and whatnot. You guys closing up?
We're actually bringing in the patio now because we're going to be closing lobby.
Okay, very good.
Well, what time do you close?
Inside, I believe at 10.
10, right? Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So we're getting kicked to another location.
Yeah.
Which I think is actually probably a good thing.
It's probably good.
But what we want to give you on this podcast is a feel for what it's like to be on the move, to be two podcasters on the ground amongst the public, amongst the masses, the great unwashed. These are all people who don't read.
Yeah.
Just the great unwashed and the hurly-burly of modern society, you know. And we just want to give people a sense of, like, the danger.
Yeah.
You know, even though we're at a chain coffee shop.
Well, I think...
I got attacked here once, right in this spot.
Really?
Yes, but I was like... I was in a state of mind where I was very zen-like, and this really nutty fucking person, you know, came and started flipping over my table. I was writing.
Really?
And these are metal tables, you know. Man, you would think they could close this store down quietly. These were metal tables. And he was out of his mind, you know, homeless, unhoused guy.
Yeah.
Drugged up. And, like, things were coming toward me, and I just kind of went like that. I swear to God, I just didn't engage
in
anything. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I was just like, you know.
And did he leave?
Yeah.
I find
the guy and the workers here, the baristas, who are all martial artists, I think. If you work at Starbucks, you know how teachers are armed?
Yes, yeah.
Well, you have to have a black belt to make lattes now.
Absolutely. Well, people want to fight.
All the time.
Over coffee. It's insane.
Especially in this area, you know?
Absolutely.
So anyway, they came out and make sure I was okay.
Yeah. I've never been in a fist fight. Ever. I have always been able to talk my way out of it. And I think, like, what you do where you kind of just ignore it and you just kind of, you're like, all right, you know, and that's how I was like, hey, pal, let's be friends. Like, what are we doing? I told a guy in junior high once, I'm like, if you gotta beat the shit out of me to get it out of your system, you know, feel free. But you
never had a meanness, huh?
I have a meanness, but it's like, I don't know. I've never.
I have a meanness, but it's always directed at the weak.
Yeah, I always direct it at the ones I love. I always like to throw it at the people I'm comfortable with. So
that's a rule I have, though, that I will not bully anybody.
Yeah.
Who, like, if I won't bully a big guy, then I won't bully a little guy or a woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the rule. Like,
I think it's a great rule. Yeah. Because if you're only doing it because you know there's not going to be consequences or you can handle it or whatever,
right?
Like that's fucked up.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
All right, we should do part 2 somewhere else.
Yeah,
here,
let's do it.
Right?
We'll be right back.
They're
folks.
gonna kick us out.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, everybody. So we have moved a few feet.
Yes.
Not that. And again, look. I'm not saying we're reporters in a war zone, even though it's close.
It is close.
Because there are so many people out here who are on the edge. And even the people, you can't see them, but in these apartments around us, they are hanging by a thread. And a lot of times I come here to have coffee, and I see people throwing themselves off of, balconies.
It's so sad because it's such
windows.
A short building.
They don't kill themselves. They just get wounded because the drops, See, in New York, you could kill yourself easily throwing yourself out a window.
Yes.
Because of the the height. But here, they don't build the buildings that. What do you think if you threw yourself off the roof, you could definitely kill yourself.
I think you could. Yeah, for sure. I think you'd have to dive.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to dive. I think if you tried to land on your feet, you'd probably survive.
Ooh.
You'd probably make it. I could make it. That's all.
I think
That's the time that it takes once you've thrown yourself off a building seems like I don't know. I think you'd probably be like, shit, I screwed up as you're going down.
Well, yeah, that's really painful. But you know what I think of is the incredible despair you have to get to throw yourself off a building. First of all, it's a violent way of death.
Right.
As opposed to, other methods of suicide. My preferred method of suicide is just to watch bad movies, bad documentaries about murder, and slowly eat myself to death. And that's just over time.
Is that what you've been doing?
It's like a I gotta get my drink.
Oh, me too. Gotta fuel up.
Here's to you folks, our Patreons. By the way, become a Patreon member at patreon.com/Eddie Pepitone. We have some great Patreon members. We got videos. Patreon members get to see some stand-up sets. I sent you a stand-up set today to put up.
Yeah, I'll send it. It'll be up tomorrow.
Did you look at it?
I didn't. I haven't.
Okay.
I hadn't had a chance.
Make sure it wasn't one I sent already.
Yeah, that would be funny. We just keep posting the same stand-up clip.
That would be funny. Like, hey, Patreon people, we have special things for you, and it's one thing that we just keep doing. No, that isn't true. So anyway, you get all kinds of stuff, T-shirts. Stand-up videos. I'm going to throw in some of my artwork.
And all of these episodes on video come out the day of the podcast comes out, and then we post them a week later. So if you want to get early access to the video portion of this, where you could see us in the real live Starbucks parking lot.
And if you're a $20 member, you see us in the nude.
That's right. And that's
Is that bread or circuses? I think that's circus.
I think that's circus. Yeah. And we have some members that pay to not receive those. And,
that's right there. That's $50.
That's $50. Yeah.
If you don't want to see us naked, which I recommend.
Yeah.
I recommend that highly.
And we have a lot of young female viewers that pay big money.
To not
that's right.
see it. Yes.
That's right.
Yes. It's a whole. You see, this is all of this stuff that we do as part of this podcast is a reverse psychology. I mean, I call it apocalypse soon. I'm hoping it's not the case, but I think we know that, if you're someone who really follows the ecosystem, particularly, it's not going well.
No.
And yes, there might be some technology that could help, but probably not. Probably not.
That's our folly guy we hired to.
I think it'd be funny if Uber or Lyft had a motorcycle division and you could get on the back of a crazed motorcyclist.
Yeah.
And like and he's like he comes up in a jacket that says, hell is not just a state of mind. It says on the back of his leather jacket.
Hop on, kid. And then you get on the back and go to Safeway or whatever.
Only takes one at a time. Safeway?
I could eat some peaches or something.
Safeway's a supermarket, right?
Yeah. Sorry,
I haven't seen a Safeway in a long time. I thought they went under.
They probably did.
I thought it was a string of arsons. Which there was a Netflix thing about. Oh, no, I think it was a Dateline. I don't know. It was about all these arsons in Washington, D.C.
Really?
There were like 22. Look up Washington, D.C. arsonist. and there were like 22 incidents of arson
Really?
by one guy.
Holy shit! It's like a Renaissance man. Like that's a lot of arson. It's a lot.
His wife challenged him. He said, "Ron," she said, "Ron, what are you going to do with your life?"
Yeah.
You know, and he said, "You never believed in me."
Yeah.
You know, and all he had was a can of gasoline and a rag. It's like a story like that. All Ron had was a can of gasoline and a rag and a match. And Ron made something of himself.
I'm gonna set this town on fire, baby.
And Ron would come home from these things, and she would say, "Were you?" And he said, "You didn't believe in me, did you?"
Yeah.
Huh? That's number 8. And she said, "Ron, you're hurting innocent people." And he was like, "I'm doing it for you, baby."
That's right.
"How are you doing it for me?" she would say. And he would be like, "Baby, I'm doing it so you know that I am capable of great things." And she would say, "How is that a great thing? You're killing innocent people. You're fucking up innocent people's abodes. You know, you're striking fear into a city." "Well, baby, you said I was nuttin'.
That's right.
Nuttin'." And she said, "Nothing? Nothing." And it would go on like that. Sometimes it would get boring.
That's a good series.
It was a good
Sometimes
series.
it would get boring. Well, do you think we should do
We should do a couple of things for the
do
crowd.
a little guided meditation or something?
I
What
want
do
to
you
mention
think?
a couple of things
Yeah.
before we go into some bits. And, this is showbiz, what you're watching. This is showbiz. Some would say this is showbiz at a low level. I challenge that. And say this is showbiz at the highest level,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And the reason I say that is real art it's about grit. It's about struggle. Real art is about struggle. It's
Yeah.
about grit. It's not about good lighting, even though we have it.
No. It's not. It really isn't, though.
Yeah. It's not about sound being great, even though we have it. You know? It's about being men and women of the people.
Yeah. Well, and
You
if you
know?
want to see two people struggling, you're in the right spot. You are in the right spot.
Matter of fact, if I had to rename this podcast, I would just call it The Struggle.
Yeah.
Welcome to the struggle. You ever wrestle your demons, folks? Well, I have, and my demons are always in a onesie, and we just wrestle and we fucking go at it. But because my demon is in a onesie, it gets very sexual.
Wow.
And
You get
it's
sexy demons.
a sexy demon. So, you know. By the way, there's a drive. It's so fucked up. There's a drive-through for Starbucks right here, which is a funny thing that there's drive-throughs for
And
shitty coffee.
And I will say, Eddie's apartment, it's not too far away. We could have recorded indoors in a controlled environment.
That's right.
But we decided no.
I often wonder why we don't do that. And then I remember, that's right. We want to give you, the viewer, and hopefully a future Patreon member, Patreon, what is it, Patreon or Patreon?
I think it is Patreon.
Future Patreon member, we want to give you, again, this kind of ambiance, this kind of beautiful setting, and that kind of thing, so you could feel what it's like outside. When you're in a studio, what feel do you have?
Yeah.
It becomes too insular.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? People in studios get very confident. They get very comfortable, while out here at any moment, we could be completely bludgeoned or hurt by different people.
See, we're Oh, you wanted to come out and
Wait, do you come on the Joe Rogan experience?
Yeah, hold it. We have a Starbucks employee here. What's your name?
It's Michelle.
Come here,
Michelle, come a little closer.
And
you see
wait
me
until
there?
you see
Yeah,
your face.
get all the way in. Come.
There
There we
you
go.
go.
Hey, there she
There
is.
you go. Did you want to say anything?
What is the topic? It depends what the topic is.
The end of the world.
The end of the world. Wow.
Yeah, we're talking. Well, that's one of the themes on the podcast. Well, it's just because the ecosystem is collapsing. You know, do you agree?
Yeah, it is. Absolutely, it is. Yeah. And then also, I think like a lot of, I don't know if you've heard of this before, but even the way people are like forming and developing, it's like they're losing a lot of their old like characteristics, like physical ones. I don't know if you've heard before, like the chin and stuff isn't developing the same way that like people are kind of, like there used to be more of like back in the day, like the way the Greeks were, they had like that masculine, like facial characteristics. Now we're all kind of developing, devolving one, but also like we're not forming the same way anymore. Like we're becoming, I think in a way, like physically like non-gender. Because you can't even tell anymore. So that's how I see it. So my sister and I, we do have a theory where like we're going to evolve into aliens. So we are already, that's what we're going to turn into.
Wow.
Yes.
Hey, that's exciting.
Michelle, thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Michelle.
We're
You too.
evolving into aliens. That's well said and well spoken. And she said something about the chin, that our chins are different and that we're we're evolving into like non-gender specific people.
My chin has
know?
always been very non-gendered. I mean, and that's why I put hair on it, because otherwise people would go, "That's a woman's chin." You know, I've always said my chin has no gender. You know,
And we're evolving into aliens, which I don't know. I think we're alien to each other. We're alienated.
yes,
you know.
alienating.
Look at this fucking.
It's
It
poppin'.
is 10 p.m.
Yeah,
and these fuckers are lining up for fucking coffee.
we're in a town of
Or
artists,
yeah.
a bunch of psychos.
Yeah.
Man, but speaking of not being in a studio, that could never have happened in a studio.
Where right. Where a person who just and I think Michelle gave a good example of someone, you know, on the edge, right? You know,
She's developing odd theories.
Theories.
You know, and her and her sister are just theorizing about gender and the aliens. You know, this is what happens. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. Isolated, sad.
So a couple of orders of business. Go to eddiepepitone.com. I'm touring. I'm going to be I want to tell everybody this. I'm going to be at the San Francisco Punchline September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th this month. Get tickets at eddiepepitone.com. And then I'm going on another tour in October. I'll be going all over again. So keep your ears peeled to that. And I also want to make a plug for my wife, who is a writer, and she is doing a table read of a script she wrote, an original pilot in London at Spotlight Studios on October 11th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Karen Simmons. If you want to go to it, contact her on Twitter, on DM, and it's K Simmons on Twitter. K Simmons, I think, 511. So an original pilot in London at Spotlight Studios in Leicester Square, October 11th, 2:30 to 5:30.
Beautiful. Yeah, and if
As
you're
the
watching,
cars just get longer and longer.
yeah, they, and also subscribe to the YouTube. You know, if you're not already subscribed to the
you.
YouTube, go and do that.
Thank you.
And then all the social medias and all that good stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. And where can people reach you?
Oh, you just
know?
search Kevin Tinkin online. There's no other Tinkins. Richie Tinkin from New York, who's the only other Tinkin in comedy, and he's dead.
Richie Tinkin.
Yeah. But that's it.
All right.
Yeah. Kevin Tinkin. I'm on everything. I'm out there.
All right.
I got 12 podcasts going right now. I'm a podcast maniac.
Do you really have?
I have 3 going right now, and then
See, we have to talk about this because I don't want. No, I don't want your focus so scattered.
Yes.
And I think you know that. I think you know that this is the one that may take you somewhere.
I do know that because it's been
Matter
made.
of fact, you're going to New York. We didn't mention that.
That's right.
But we're going to be at the New York Comedy Festival.
Yes.
November 11th.
Yes.
We're
Both
being
of us.
flown out to New York, and we are going to do Apocalypse Soon live at a very cool venue in New York as part of the New York Comedy Festival. So look that up, New York Comedy Festival, Apocalypse Soon. Kevin's going to join me out there because we couldn't do it without Kevin.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm very excited. Yeah, the manager called me today and was like, "Hey, are you doing anything on this?" I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "Oh, New York." I'm like, "Yes, I will be there." So it'll be good. I'm off my no-fly zone now. I'm excited.
What about no-fly zone?
What's that? I didn't. No, it'll be good. It'll be great.
Great.
No problems with the law at all.
All right.
It'll be
so
good.
There's a little bit of business. Write a review, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
write a review.
That's it. And now we'll get into a couple of bits. Yeah.
Let's do some bits.
All right. Let's start it off with something that a lot of people love: guided meditation. Okay?
I'm down.
All right. Why don't you intro it?
And now, wipe the table clean of your mind and enjoy another relaxing, delightful, guided meditation with Eddie Pepitone.
All right, everybody. Oh, if you're like me, you're storing a lot of tension in your body. As a matter of fact, I should open up a storage facility for tension and charge monthly the way someone's waving in the background. Sorry, everybody. I just started laughing. I want you all to just breathe out all the tension that you were feeling, and it will no longer be part of you if you just breathe out all of the darkness, all of the blackness. Yeah, and what I mean by blackness, just picture the smoke from a fire which we are surrounded by in Oregon and Washington and California, particularly northern, got black smoke. Breathe that out. Breathe it out. Empty your lungs of toxins, which at this point is almost impossible. And hopefully you have on a loose-fitting garment. And if you're wearing a hat, let's hope it's a Mad Hatter hat, which is one of those big accordion-like hats that people who used, the reason they were called Mad Hatters is that people who used to block hats used to use mercury, and they got extremely sick, and they became mentally ill, so they were called Mad Hatters. I want you to breathe that in. Breathe in the fact that people in different eras went insane from different things that we're going insane from. Like back then it was mercury from blocking hats, and so many families thought it was so great to be a hat blocker, and they were wrong. But hat blocking, and all of this is being breathed in, by the way, but hat blocking was a very big occupation. It was an occupation that gave people status, the hat blockers. All right, now with your out breath, I want you to breathe out the fact that you know somewhere in your soul that all these New Age gurus, the meditators, the yoga people, the Pilates people, even the people who teach you how to analyze handwriting, I'm going to throw them in there, that they're all scamming you. The aromatherapy people, that really what life is about is meaning and having a society geared and connected to all of us. But we don't have that. We live in the last stages of capitalism. We live in the end stages of a system that has gone completely insane. Breathe all that in. Breathe it in. And whenever a guided meditation asks you to breathe something in, know that you are not getting better. Know it. Know that instead of having a better life, you're settling for just breathing in properly. And now, I want you, with your out breath, I want you to breathe out the fact that the oligarchs of this country it's not so much a conspiracy, it's just shared interests that they want you and your family to suffer. Your commodities, you're only good to them as long as you're healthy, and they don't care if you get poisoned. Mad Hatters got poisoned in the 1800s, and now other workers are getting poisoned. Different types of factories. Just stay with me. I almost started to laugh because I couldn't think of the type of poisoning that's going on, but it's in our air. They have found chemicals in our water tables, so it's all coming apart. And I want you to breathe that in, and then with your next out breath, I want you to breathe out the fact that you're surrounded by military expenditures. They're manifestations of evil all around you. It's a perpetual war economy, these people are mad. They're mad. All of these people. Breathe this in now. I think it's in at this point, and I lose track of breathing in and out, which I should just call this guided hyperventilations at this point. But just breathe out or in the fact that you are surrounded by actual madness, that these people who are controlling things, and they're controlling all of these military expenditures, they are insane, because this money and these resources should be spent toward health, toward well-being, but instead they are spent toward death because they enrich a few. So breathe that in, that there is death and insanity all around you, and you are asked every day you're asked to be normal. You're asked to be pleasant. You're asked to be kind. While all this insanity, all of this world that's pitted against you, conspired against you, it is insane that you're supposed to be happy and productive. We're told to be productive because we are supposed to be kept busy. God forbid we have time to just breathe like in a guided meditation. Breathe that in, that you have no time to do a guided meditation. Breathe that in, or as my dad used to say, put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Thanks for joining us for another delightful guided meditation with Eddie Pepitone. Man, you know what I love about it? It's so relaxing out here.
And folks, again, that motorcycle is part of this modern industrial world. The fact that a motorcycle, by the way, they piss me off so much. The fact that they're so fucking loud.
Yeah.
And they set off car alarms as they go.
Have you ever ridden a motorcycle, though?
No, have you?
Oh, yeah. It's pretty fun.
I've been on one, but I haven't.
It scared the shit out of me. I had a 1974 Honda. that I
Honda?
A Honda, yeah.
Uh-huh,
And I fixed it up. And
Live free or die type of thing?
oh, big time. No, it was more of a $650 on Craigslist type of thing. But we fixed it up, and then I remember driving it, and I had a clutch cable come undone, and I was done. I was terrified after that.
Oh, did you get in an accident?
Didn't get in an accident, but I saw the cable come down and dangle in front of the front wheel, and if it would have gotten in that front wheel, I would have flipped over at 70 miles an hour on the highway. So I was like, I'm done.
Wow.
But mine wasn't loud.
Yeah.
It was quiet.
Whenever I see a motorcycle on the highway, I always roll down my window and I'm like, hey, Johnny Freedom, how's it going? How's freedom, buddy? Yeah, fuck motorcycles and the people who ride them. But I get it, that, it's so freeing. That is not freedom, folks. That is just a ride. That's a vehicle. I guess it can be fun. I guess so. Right?
It's fun. It's just dangerous. I don't understand why it's so loud.
Yeah, why can't they have electric motorcycles?
Or just put a muffler on it. It's super easy.
All right.
Well,
I thought there was a friend of mine, but that was not. All right, so we doing Al and Margaret?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, join us for another Checking In with Al and Margaret, a couple living inside Eddie Pepitone's head.
Margaret, I have to go get a colonoscopy. Al, your colonoscopy is not until Wednesday. Well, what the hell day do you think this is? Oh, my goodness, it is Wednesday. Margaret, let me tell you something. I think you are showing signs of early dementia. Don't you say that to me, Al. I don't need to be told that I am losing my marbles. Look, Margaret, if we are both aging, you know that, and I guess I'm aging better than you. Bullshit, Al, look at you. You look like a human fight. You look like a conflict. You know what? You look like two nations that are fighting for the last 10 years together inside your body. Margaret, I don't get the analogy that my body looks like a conflict. Yes, you look like when we invaded Grenada. Hey, Margaret, that was not even a war. Grenada didn't put up a fight. And your immune system, Al, is not putting up a fight to aging. Oh, really? Well, who forgot that it was Wednesday? Oh, Al, you son of a bitch. Just because I forgot today was Wednesday doesn't mean that I am deteriorating. You are deteriorating. Let me ask you this, Al. Where is your Zoloft? That's right, Al. That's right. Where is your Zoloft, mister? I've got it all together. Is it in, I think it's in my top drawer in my, the purple dinosaur socks I have. You don't even know the name of the dinosaur. Barney? All right, well, you got that. Look, Margaret, but why do you keep your Zoloft in Barney socks? Or even a better question, Al, why do you have Barney socks at your age? Look, Margaret, I'm trying to stay young. Oh, wow. Yeah, we just talked about how we're aging. I know, but I work out once every couple of years. I try to eat, a piece of nice grilled salmon once every couple of months. I want to live, Margaret. I want to live. What do you want to live for, Al? Do you want to see the extinction of the human race? Do you know we are in the middle of the sixth mass extinction called the Anthropocene? Margaret, I can't believe that you know these things. That's right, Al. You know when you go out on your quote-unquote walks at night and you take 2 hours to come back? Yeah, I'm walking. No, I don't know what you're doing, Al. I don't know if you're screwing people at the unemployment pool. Unemployment pool? What the hell do you mean? You know what I'm talking about. The pool where the unemployed go in those skimpy bikinis, and they pay a very small amount to get in, and there's all kinds of orgiastic behavior. Margaret, I don't know what you're thinking. I just take a walk to get my heart rate up. Bullshit, Al. I put a chip on you. What? I put one of those Apple keychains on you that detect where you are, and every day you go to that pool, and then you stop, and then there's some pelvis movements, and then it's over in like 5 seconds, and then you're back here. Margaret, and when you're doing that, I'm going to night school, and that's why I know about the Anthropocene. You're just screwing unemployed people. And I'm going to night school, Al, and I'm making myself smarter, and I'm making myself better. So what that I forgot it was Wednesday? You know why I forgot it was Wednesday? Because I was late. I was up late last night studying quantum physics, Al. Why don't you put that in your pipe and smoke it? Margaret, come on. Don't say things like this. Oh, yeah, Al. It's been nice knowing... Wait a minute, Margaret. Where are you going? Al, I've learned too much to be in this relationship anymore. Margaret, you know this is a regular segment on Eddie Pepitone's podcast. I don't give a damn. Eddie Pepitone, let me tell you something. This is similar to the singularity where the machines get smarter than its creators. Your character, Margaret, is gone to night school and has become smarter than you. And I am leaving this stupid relationship that you set up. Margaret, don't you insult me, and don't you leave me. I love you, baby. Don't you start that bullshit, Al. If you love me, you wouldn't be screwing the unemployed at the unemployed pool. Do you know there's no lifeguard there, Margaret? I know, Al. I know. Because lifeguards are employed, and it's the unemployed pool. It's a horrible pool, Al. The chlorine levels are horrible. How do you know about the unemployed pool? Because I used to have sex there, too. Margaret, please don't leave me. Okay? Please don't leave me. I think the reason I started having sex at the unemployed pool was because I'm just not feeling well lately. I can't find my Zoloft. It's in your Barney socks, idiot. Now I'm walking out. Don't walk out, Margaret. I love you. Oh, that's just a ploy by Eddie Pepitone. Is that you, Al, speaking, or Eddie Pepitone, Margaret? You know it's both of us. Well, as long as it's you, I do love you. I knew it. I knew you loved me, and I love you. Why? Because we're part of the same guy, Eddie Pepitone, and Eddie's been doing a lot of therapy. He's working with various new electroshocks. He's up to 100 volts a minute now, where he gets shocked and asparagus just flies out of his mouth, or whatever he's eating flies out of his mouth. Al, don't get so graphic. Just tell me how much you love me. I do love you. And I'll stop going to the unemployed pool. I'll go to the employed pool, where people are too tired to have sex because they have 3-4 jobs. Oh, Al, will you go to the employed pool for me? I will, baby. Come here, you big lug.
Thanks for joining us for another Checking In with Al and Margaret, a couple living inside Eddie Pepitone's head.
Well, I think that's it.
I think that's it. It feels good.
It feels good again, folks, to do one out here late at night.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a harvest moon out. It's kind of shrunk at this point. It's like if you go in the shower and you're a guy and
or out of the shower.
Old gonads shrink a little. That the harvest moon can't be seen.
It can't be seen.
I'll never forget. I was in a shower and there was a peeping Tom looking at me.
Mm-hmm.
I felt embarrassed because I had shriveled up. It was a cold shower.
Yeah.
And I felt like he wasn't seeing the best of me.
I hate that. It's the worst. Every time I go into a doctor to get like a physical, I always make sure I have a raging erection. just so that the full
Absolutely.
example of me is set, you know?
Absolutely. You have to treat your medical professionals well, and also like objects, like just, be sexually be sexually aggressive when you're going to see a doctor, and turn the tables on them, because it's usually doctors who assault patients.
Yeah. Well,
you want to turn the tables.
Exactly. I won't be a victim. I won't do it.
No.
If I have to victimize my doctor, that's what's going to happen.
And insurance will probably not cover it.
No. They don't cover anything, though.
All right, everybody. So that was Apocalypse Soon, again in a remote location. We'll be back in the studio soon. Don't worry, but we don't know. We just want to get these out weekly, however we do. And that's it. Anything else? Yeah,
like and subscribe. Go to the Patreon, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. And leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. It's huge. If you've already left us a review, go ahead and go to another podcast and leave us a review on there and mention the Apocalypse Soon podcast with Eddie Pepitone. And that's it. Thanks,
all right,
folks.
everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Apocalypse Soon, the podcast with no upside.